In this video clip, I'm going to show you how to make a real cute little garden bench and color it for you. I'm taking the bench first, stamping it really heavily in a black ink pad that is for watercoloring, and I put it on my paper and hold it down so that it absorbs into the paper. And then I'm going to take a little basket and put it on the bench. Sometimes it takes a little practice to get it to where you want it. Oh, give it a try. Whoo, pretty good. I'm going to put a pot, and I'll explain this right about here. And I know you see it's on top of the other one, but I'll explain what I'm going to be doing there a little bit later, and put some grass down so we ground this. We've got that going on. Okay, now I'm going to take and put some flowers in some things, and that means I need to mask them. So, I've got a piece of paper here. I'm going to cover up this little pot, and I'm going to put black flowers in it because this is all going to be colored with Tombows. And in this one, I'm going to take this brand new one, or sort of new, but it's one I really like. Cover this up again, and taking this bigger one and drop it into the basket. Hold it down good, and now I have that. Now at this point, this is just composition. This is just coloring it. And the Tombows I'm going to be using are shades of browns and grays, and then also over here I've got some that will be for the pot. Whenever I color, I try to use complementary colors and hues that will work together. So before I do anything here, oh, and I should tell you, I use always green and blue for grasses. Now, composition stamped in black, that is done with a watercolor pad, and it won't bleed. I'm going to put gray pretty much around almost everything. Under it, around it, over it. And what it does is it highlights what I've already stamped down. And it's not a shadow because I'm trying to go pretty, and I'm working pretty quickly. Put it in the grass, and I've got it pretty much around just about anything and everything I've got in here. Now, what it did is it lifts it up off the page a little bit. Now, the bench is aged, so I'm going to take and put gray on it. And over this pot section, I've got gray. That's a soft gray, and even the basket's going to get a little gray. I'll probably come back and use it again. Here is a soft brown. So I'm coming in on the basket on one side, going almost across it all, in parts of the bench. Not all of it, but parts of it, because wood does not have just one color. Here is another brown. It's a little darker. So I'm not putting it on too many places. How about the insides? So they sort of look like shadow of the legs. Maybe along the bottom, maybe not. I don't know. Now I'm going back to the soft gray in the first place and push that color around a little bit. So I've got some more in here. Kind of makes it look like it blends in. I don't know if you can see that, but hopefully you can. Now, the brown. Taking this brown, not to the gray, but to the lighter brown. Now I've got those two browns, darker brown, lighter brown, and I'm picking up some of the darker brown with my lighter so that I can darken the basket on the one side. Now I'm taking the dark brown or the darker brown straight and just putting a few places in here because baskets aren't always even either. And I've got a handle down here, a little circle up here. So I've got that going on. I think a few places down there I missed. Put the lids back on, which is something I sort of forget once in a while. Go back to that light gray again and work this out just a little bit. Go back to the darker gray. Now this is a darker gray, and I'm going in to the bench with the darker gray. Coming up the legs a little, adding the darkness that usually is under a bench. So we have that going. Okay, now we got grass things and greenery things, so I'm taking this green, which is a sage green, and I don't get real excited about staying in the lines. I just kind of get it down quick. I'm going to bring it up into this a little bit, not all of it, and then I'm coming in here with it. And this is, like I said, the sage green. Get a little in here. Now I'm taking a blue, and I'm bringing that in the same areas, but not all of them. And when you add another color, which is a tone similar, it creates dimension. You can see the blue and green, I hope. Blue and green in there. How about some blue and green in there? And how about a little blue in here? So we have this going. Now, we went, uh-oh, we have that pot that's overlapped. I stamped another one on a piece of paper. I'm taking a light orange and I'm going to cross it quickly. And I'm taking a darker orange and I'm going to cross one side of it. Now it's still just a little damp, so then I'm going like this and move it around. At this point I would take, well, I'm going to take and put a little gray on it because I'm going to cut it out and put it over what I've got there. At this point I take a pair of scissors, and I did a pot because a pot's really easy to cut out. And I'm going to cut it out. A lot of things, it's easier sometimes just to cut it out and glue it down over where you want it than to try to mask it. There's a lot of things that are easy to mask, and then there's other things that are not quite so easy. So we got this little pot thing, which will get glued right here. And I have a glue stick to do it. There's a little piece of paper. Taking the glue stick, putting a little bit of glue on here. And this is just a simple glue stick. Put it down right over where that was. So we got that. Okay, we need some flowers. And our flowers of choice is a spider flower. And I'm going to put that baby up there. But I'm going to put more than one. Like, how about 3? I like that one. And then here's another one. And that one I'll just leave one. Kind of highlights that one. And this one I might do 2. And then I'm going to come down here because I think it might look kind of interesting, even though there may not be a stem. How about right in there? I'll put a couple so they're a little more obvious. And maybe one in there. So now we have some spider flowers on there. And then I come back with a little solid, or not solid, a little round one. It's open. And that flower is that guy. But you can take him and cluster him up, and he looks different. So we'll do that. And then we have this different one. I'll do him down there for a little more color. And maybe over here for a little more color. Okay, then we take a dot stamp. And the dot stamp I usually do in blue. Now this is more of a turquoisey blue, but it's good enough. And you very softly put some dots in here. And they kind of soften the whole look. Maybe bring a few in here to kind of pull it together. And you've got that going. And I got one more color I was going, and this is a khaki color. I'm going to bring this khaki underneath the whole thing, down under my pot, out this edge, a little bit into here and here, just to age it. I do that just to age it. And this is the flower bench.